Hi everyone, welcome back to the Bearded Broskies. I'm Chris, this is Mike. This week we're going to be reviewing Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4 that we just finished watching. Really good episode again this week. It's getting good, it's getting good.
The season's been
Uh,
on point. We've
yeah,
only got 7 episodes, so they're fucking just giving us everything we want.
yeah, a little bit sad that we're already more than halfway through and we only got 3 episodes left. And this one was only 50 minutes long. And as soon as it cut to black, we were like, oh fuck, it was only 10 minutes. Where's our 10 minutes?
Yeah,
So, yeah, a little pissed off that it was a short episode, but the last 2 or 3 episodes are supposed to be like over 75, 80 minutes or something like that. So I guess
we're
we'll
getting
make
a
up for
little bit makeup for our lack this time.
it, hopefully anyway. So this episode starts with Braun and Jamie, and they are escorting all the gold that they've just stolen from Highgarden back to the King's Landing. And Jamie's repaying some debt to Braun, gives a big sack of gold. But then Braun starts bringing up, well, you promised me a castle and a highborn lady, and Jamie's kind of like, wow.
That castle's available.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Highgarden's free, and Jamie's like, no, you don't want Highgarden, there's too much upkeep, and Daenerys has got a big army coming, like, you only hold it shortly, and wait till the war's done, and I'll give you your hand-pick of castles. And I think Braun's kind of getting sick at this point of hearing all this fucking promises that he's been,
This
like,
keeps getting led along.
yeah,
Where's my reward? I'm a sellsword, goddammit.
yeah, and I
Sell me
mean,
my sword.
he's been with them for probably 3 years now, three
Yeah.
or 4 years since he first met Tyrion. So he's probably like, man, yeah, you guys made me a knight and a lord, but I don't own anything. He's still only
I
owns
didn't
a
really
sword.
care about being a knight or a lord.
Yeah.
Just give me a fucking castle.
Yeah, I guess he's had 4 years of free food. Yeah,
I
pretty
guess.
much. So from there, we leads us to King's Landing, and we get Cersei's having another meeting with the banker from Bravos.
Yeah, and he's impressed. He says, no one's ever paid me back the amount of money you owed me in one lump sum, but hey, it looks like I'm getting it. So, yeah, they're just waiting on all the gold to make their way back from Highgarden. It's all being escorted by the Lannister army under the watch of Jaime and Bronn and Randall Tarley. They're bringing it back, so they're just kind of waiting on it. And honestly, that's basically what they're really up to. They don't.
Pretty much the banker, after he's pretty excited that he's getting all this gold, he's like, oh, well, I guess we'll fund you for other adventure, financial endeavors that you have. Basically, he's going to help her fund the rest of her campaign, the rest of her war, because just because they've paid them back doesn't mean they have any more gold for what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's basically said that he'll fund them. She has inquired about bringing over the Golden Company, which, if you don't know who the Golden Company is, if you haven't read the books, they are a sellsword company of about 10,000 strong, and they're the most reputable sellsword company in Essos, in the eastern continent. So, I mean, they're pretty much the most elite fighting force over there, besides the Unsullied, I guess, of sellswords. So they're hiring them to bring them over. They got the best reputation. So that's pretty much what's going on with Cersei. Is her and the guy from the Iron Banker having a good time discussing money.
Yeah.
And then we lead going up north, and we get a nice reunion there.
Yeah, well, we get a scene with Arya. She's made it back to Winterfell. She comes up to the castle gates, and she's having a little back and forth with a couple of guards.
Two dumb guards again.
Trying to make her way into the castle, saying, "I'm Arya Stark. I'm here to be at my castle with my family. And, get out of here. I'm going to tell you one last time.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, you don't belong here."
Just like in season 1, where she snuck out of the dungeons when she was looking at the dragon skulls chasing cats, and she basically said, oh, well, my father's the hand of the king, and if you don't let me in, I'll get him to put your heads on spikes, basically. And
Yeah.
very much does the same thing to them. Okay, you can turn me away, but if Sansa finds out that I was here and, you didn't let me in, then you're going to be in shit again.
Yeah.
So they kind of bring her in, and they're bantering who's actually going to go talk to the Lady of Winterfell with this, like, oh, some chick's saying she's your sister, and then Arya sneaks off, obviously.
Yeah.
And then as they tell Sansa, they hit her with some information that only Arya would know. So then Sansa goes, oh, I know exactly where she'll be then. She meets her down in the crypts, and we get a first reunion from Arya and Sansa all the way from season 1. So, she doesn't know what Arya's been up to. Arya doesn't know what Sansa's been up to. They've both been through huge, huge things in their lives. Obviously, she doesn't know that Arya's like a friggin' faceless man, and she starts asking her about her list, and Arya's like, oh, Joffrey was #1 on my list, and Sansa's like, oh, your list? And goes, oh, yeah, people I'm going to kill, and Sansa just kind of laughs. You're going to kill people, and Arya's like, yeah. So it's kind of funny. Then we get Littlefinger is plotting against Bran for some reason. He gives Bran the
Or
Valyrian
maybe
steel
he's trying to
dagger.
cover his ass, one or the other.
He might be trying to because it was Littlefinger's dagger, if you remember from season 1, right? And he lied and said Tyrion. He lost it to Tyrion in a jousting when Jaime got dismounted by Loras Tyrell. But Tyrion makes the comment to Catelyn in season 1, going, "I never bet against my family."
Yeah.
So Littlefinger's been lying since season 1 about this dagger. And obviously Joffrey ended up having it, and he's the one who sent the man to kill Bran in his sleep.
Mhm.
The whole reason Littlefinger's been lying about it, though, kind of started the whole war. Like, really, the whole series is based around this dagger. Our only concern is we were both like, well, Bran knows everything now. He's seen everything from everybody, so he must know what Littlefinger's up to. You know, he kind of hints at the end of the conversation that because Littlefinger says something about, you know, your world is in chaos right now, and Bran goes, oh, chaos is like a ladder, which is the conversation that Littlefinger had with Varys back in like season 3. And that's the only, like, he would be the only person that know that. So Littlefinger's kind of like, oh shit, like, how did he know that? So we don't really know what they're doing with Bran and that, but for some reason they've reintroduced a stagger.
Well, I mean, basically, they could just, start blurting things out of Bran's mouth that he knows everything, but they don't want to do that. Obviously, they want to keep, stuff behind the vest.
Some
And,
secret there.
yeah, exactly. He could just, say he had a hand in killing our dad.
He betrayed Dad, basically.
Yeah, he could have pointed out any of the other things that we don't necessarily know. The fact that he killed Liza Aaron.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
He could point that out. If
well, I guess Sansa knows that too, though. She was there. So we get a reunion between Bran, Arya, and Sansa finally in the Godswood, and Arya kind of gets to see, Bran and his visions, and he lets out that he knew she was at the crossroads, and she thought he was going south, and she goes, "Well, I was." Yeah, and then Sansa's like, "Oh, why were you going south?" And Arya's like, "To kill the queen." And then so now they're all kind of disheveled with each other, because Sansa's like, Arya, like she doesn't really know. Maybe Arya is capable of doing this, and then they're both unsure with Bran, right? And he doesn't really know how to act around people anymore.
He's very robotic, It's kind of weird. Like, I don't remember the last Three-Eyed Raven being as kind of robotic as he was. Like, he was an older man, had been around for thousands of years.
But maybe it's just because Bran has so much compute that he's just not computing it properly.
Right? He's still a young kid, obviously. You got to remember that.
He's still he's lost kind of his humanity, because they had a scene with Mirror right before this one, where Mirror kind of comes in and says, I'm going home, and Bran just has no emotions for her, even though she's been through everything with him over the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And she's like, Hodor died for you, Summer died for you, my brother died for you, everybody's died for you, and Bran's just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go now. And so she kind of leaves heartbroken, and a part of Bran probably did die when the Three-Eyed Raven died, and a part of the Three-Eyed Raven is probably into Bran, right? So, he's just, I think he's just kind of lost right now.
And like I was just saying, like, he's still a young kid. Like, he may look like a full-grown adult now, just because obviously the show has been on for 7 years, but
in the books, he's a kid.
Supposed to be like 9, 10 at this point.
He's probably, maybe
somewhere
10 or 11
there.
years old.
In the show, he's probably like a 16, 17-year-old, 18, somewhere in that range. It's hard to tell where they've kind of aged all the kids to at this point, but this is a lot of information for a young kid to now all of a sudden, everything. What's been, what's going on. It's just, that's a lot to throw on this kid.
From everybody on the planet, too.
Yeah.
Everybody's
exactly.
past, present,
It's crazy to think the amount of knowledge this kid has and what, was possibly weighing on his mind, I guess.
But after that, we lead to a real cool scene. Arya kind of challenges Brienne to like a training sword fight in the yard.
Yeah, she's training Pod at the
beating him
moment.
up.
And, she says, well, I never got a chance, or I haven't trained in a while. Would you mind giving me a chance?
Try me out.
Yeah.
So Brienne's trying her best actually in the beginning to kind of take it easy on Arya, is just flicking the sword up to her neck, and Brienne's like, oh shit, how does she know how to do that? And then, she's getting the better of Brienne, and we hadn't seen anyone get the better of Brienne in the whole series.
Hound couldn't get the better of Brienne.
Brienne actually holds her own, ends up knocking Arya to the ground, which gets her to get even more on her guard, because she was kind of playing with Brienne before, but now she went serious with her. She still ends up getting the better of Brienne, but they kind of finish the duel with each other.
A sword at each other's throats.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, Arya's got the dagger that she got from Bran. And she's got it at Brienne's throat. Brienne's got her sword at Arya's throat. You can kind of see a smile on both their
Both
faces.
of them, you know.
They're like,
But
wow. All
the
right.
this whole time, Littlefinger and Sansa are watching from up top on the balcony, and Littlefinger, if you watch him closely, he's just like he has no idea what's going on. He's like, what the hell is happening here? Like, and Sansa too is going, okay, I guess Arya knows. I don't know where she learned this shit, but apparently she can take on somebody who's beat some of the best knights in the entire
Shout
realm.
out Serial Pharrell.
No, exactly. Yeah, the water dancer for the win.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave the north. That sums up what's happened up there, and we're gonna go back down to Dragonstone, where John has lured Dany into a cave.
Yeah, he's basically, they've discovered the obsidian. They're going to start mining it, but before they do, he wants to take her in there and just show her, what it all kind of looks like. And it's a big, vast cave, and you just see it's full of obsidian. It's sparkling in all the light. And he says, I want to show you one more thing. And he kind of takes her around another corner, and you can see a bunch of markings in the cave. And he says these were made by the children of the forest. And basically, it then shows the children of the forest. It shows the first humans. Or she asks, like, how long have these been here, kind of thing. Are these even before the first men? And he says, no. You can see right here. There's a shot of the first men with the children of the forest, and then it pans over, and there's the White Walkers.
Yeah, so they banded together, and they band together to fight the White Walkers. And these markings are thousands of years old, and there's clearly the Night King on the wall.
Yep.
And so she still kind of doesn't believe John that these exist, but now that she's like, yeah, they must exist.
Yeah.
So then we like they're developing this relationship more with John and Dany, and part of the cave he takes her by the arm and leads her into there. So they're getting them a little more acquainted with each other. But basically she now believes him, but she still wants him to bend the knee, and he still doesn't want to bend the knee. So obviously I think they're going to propose a marriage there, because that's the only way you're going to get them to both. Is if John marries her in the end, then he's still king, she's still queen, and they will rule together, kind of thing. So it can still work out.
Well, and Targaryens got to stay together anyway.
No, yeah, well, the last two of them.
Yeah.
So as they're coming out of the cave, Tyrion and Varys are there, and they don't have any good information for them, and basically tell them that the Unsullied have taken Castle Rock, but they're now stuck there with no food, and that Euron Greyjoy has destroyed most of their fleet.
Yeah.
They only have enough ships now to take the Dothraki to shore, which is a lot of fucking ships, because there's 100,000 of them. So, like, Tyrion's kind of like, it's okay, we have a few boats left. We could bring the Dothraki to the shore still for an attack, but there's 100,000 Dothrakis. How many ships you got? Like, forget
plus all their horses.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of didn't make much sense, but whatever, we took it.
Yeah.
And Dany's kind of lost, because her advisors, like Tyrion and that, are telling her, don't fly the dragons and nuke the Red Keep, and then she's getting frustrated, because she's like, well, I'm listening to all you guys, and we're losing the war. I've lost all my allies, pretty much. All I have left is Dothraki and Unsullied that I can't even get to, because they're cut off.
And 3 dragons.
And 3 dragons that you won't let me use. So she's like, what the hell are we going to do? So she actually turns to Jon, and Jon at first is like, I don't want to get, this is your guys' war council kind of thing. She's like, no, I want your opinion. What should I do? And Jon pretty much backs up Tyrion in saying, you know what, like, you've done things that were the first to ever happen in the world, with the dragons, and you've got people following you because you've done things that everyone thought was impossible. He goes, but if you go to King's Landing and light everybody on fire, then you're just repeating what past Targaryens have done, and you really will wash out all the good that you've done so far that people know you for.
Yeah.
So you kind of think that she's going to listen to him. So we'll leave you with that, and then Theon shows up.
We get a small scene. One boat shows up. It's got the Greyjoy cracking on the mast or the sail, and they're like, "Oh, who could that be? Is it one of ours?" And a couple rowboats show up, and there's Theon, and this is the first time Jon and Theon have been together, I think, since season 1.
Yeah.
Episode 1, I guess, maybe 2. But
no, they're probably not seen together in episode 2. So pretty much 59 episodes. This is the first one they're back, kind of like.
Yeah, so he basically, they kind of have a stare down. I thought maybe Jon was going to punch him. Kind of looked like it at first.
I was going to drown him a bit, yeah.
But he kind of just goes up to him, and he just, basically says, the only reason I'm keeping you alive
just because of what you did to Sansa.
Yeah.
Like, he helped save Sansa, and Jon obviously knows that because she told him. So he goes, the only reason I'm not killing you right now is because of you saving Sansa. And he's just kind of like, Fair enough. Yeah, like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Jamie and Braun, and they're with Randall Tarley, and they are escorting the last of the gold into King's Landing, and now they've got is the grain shipment that they're bringing in.
Yeah.
And they're just shooting the shit, and they're meet up with Randall's younger son, which is Sam's younger brother, Dickon, and they have a little small comedic moment there where Jamie calls him Rickon again. And he goes, "It's Dickon," and then Braun just bursts out laughing, like just no shame.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny. And then all of a sudden, Braun hears Dothraki coming.
Yeah. Says, listen, and goes quiet for a second, and then yeah, sure enough, you start to hear something coming up over the hill, and it takes about a minute. The Lannisters are starting to form up their army. They're form up, shields and spears, shields and spears. So they're forming up their lines, and then all of a sudden you see the Dothraki screamers just coming over that hill.
Thousands of Dothraki screamers, and Braun pretty much tells Jamie, get the fuck back to the Red Keep, like you're no good here. And he goes, I'm not leaving the men. He goes, you're a commander, but you can't fight anymore. He's like, so get out of here. You're worth more than everybody else here. And Jamie's like, no, I'm gonna hold my ground. So Braun's like, okay. And then all of a sudden, Dany swoops in with Drogon.
Yeah. And do you think that the Dothraki was enough to scare these guys? Wait till you see the dragon flying over the top of them, and they're just like, shit.
Like, I'm watching it. I'm not even a soldier on the ground, and I could just, they just pat on Jamie and Braun. They're just like, I would be like, I'm gonna fuck out of it. If I'm a foot soldier and I got a spear, and I'm like, oh, there's a dragon the size of a plane, I'd be like, I'm out of here. And sure enough, Drogon comes and just
breath of fire right through about 100 dudes.
Blows a whole opening hole for the Dothraki to come through, and we get this huge battle starts playing out. It's just, it's sick.
It's chaos. It's freaking awesome.
I wouldn't say it is as good as Battle of the Bastards. It is close.
Oh yeah.
And then you get a good shot with Braun because Jamie tells him to go after the Spitfire, which is the giant crossbow that you saw a couple episodes ago that they're going to shoot the dragons down with, right?
Yeah.
And Braun is the same thing. It's like a camera on Braun. He's going through the battle just like Jon did last season, and guys are on fire, and he's pushing guys on fire out of the way, and stabbing Dothraki, and there's
stealing swords from dead guys.
Dead bodies. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he gets on the Spitfire, obviously, and ends up shooting Drogon out of the sky, wings him. And then Jamie sees an opportunity to kill Daenerys, right? She hops down after Drogon lands.
And Tyrion's showed up on the hill, and he's watching this, and he's just like, don't do it, you idiot.
He's like, turn around, flee. And then Jamie goes for it, and he goes, you fucking idiot. Exact quote, you fucking idiot. So Jamie's charging towards Dany with a spear in hand, and at the last second, Drogon turns around when you think Dany thinks she's dead too. She's like, ah.
Yeah.
Once again, what did we say last season? Dany is so arrogant, and that she thinks she's just all this.
Invincible.
If a guy was charging Jon Snow on horseback with a spear, Jon wouldn't be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, But this, whatever, Dany does it, and Drogon peers in and obviously goes to nuke Jamie, and Braun comes out of nowhere, knight in shining armor, kind of against Braun's character, saves Jamie. They go into the water, and the episode ends with Jamie sinking to the bottom of the pond.
And it fades to black, and it just.
And we're like, oh my god, there should be 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So awesome scene. Don't know what's happened to Jamie. Might be captured. He's obviously alive. He's not going to drown. If they were going to kill him, he would have got roasted or eaten by Drogon. So he's not that. So Braun and Jamie are either captured, or Braun's probably going to drag him to safety, and they'll end up getting back to Red Keep. The only discussion we were having about this, actually, what my girlfriend brought up, was that it was so out of Braun's character to save Jamie, because Braun loses his gold at the beginning of the battle, but he still runs for the Spitfire, to take down the dragon. But when you think about it, if you're Braun, he's like, I have to keep Jamie alive because Jamie is my golden goose. Because if Jamie dies, he's the only one that's going to give Braun it. If Jamie dies and Braun goes to Cersei,
doesn't care.
Cersei's not going to give him shit. No, nobody cares about Braun but Jamie, right? Yeah. So if Jamie dies, Braun's like, I'm poor peasant again, basically, right? So it's not that uncharacteristic of him to save Jamie because Jamie's his meal ticket.
Basically,
At first, you're kind of like, oh, wow. But then when you think about it,
it makes sense.
He's just being smart still.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that pretty much sums up season 7, episode 4. Excited for next week. It's going to be even better.
7 days are gonna kill me going in between here.
Hopefully it's longer than 50 minutes because we just felt like we didn't have enough tonight.
Yeah.
We'll be signing off now. We'll talk to you again next week. Please like, share, and subscribe, guys, if you enjoyed this video. We're the Bearded Broskies. I'm Chris. This is Mike. Have a good night.
See ya.